Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Friday Morning Live. Today's date is January 31st, 2025, and excited to do another presentation for you all. Thanks for joining us this morning. We'll bring in our friends from AskFetch, Chris Black and Trace Meek, in a minute, but let me go through a couple housekeeping items to kick us off this morning. So there is a picture of yours truly, Dave Newell. Good morning, everyone. Just show you a picture of Trace and Chris. So we'll have them online here in a few to go through their presentation. As some of you may know, some of you may not know, but you'll learn about it today, that this organization, FAI, has formed a partnership. They're one of our preferred partners. You've seen them the last few years at convention, and certainly we'll see them again this year. And we'll get into more about our relationship with Trace and Chris. So just a reminder, Capital Days. I hate to be Debbie Downer this morning, first thing, but I will say, unfortunately, the hotel where we have a block of rooms is sold out. And we learned this week from Cindy that the entire hotel, that AC Marriott, is sold out. So if you plan on coming to Capital Days, certainly go in and register. Let us know you're coming, but you're going to have to find alternative accommodations for that few days you're in Tallahassee, because the AC Marriott, the host hotel, is completely sold out for those few days. So but certainly love to have you. If you've never been to Capital Days, we encourage you to come. It may just mean that you won't be at the host hotel. You may have to stay at another place downtown Tallahassee. So just letting you know that. And again, we remind you each week about all the web-based learning that we provide here at FAIA. There's some classes, some content that's coming up. Certainly, we have our own catalog of the member benefit classes, but we have a variety of other topics that you can take advantage of online. So just keep looking back at the schedules, and hopefully there's a class that piques your interest and you register for it. We appreciate that. Member benefit, just again, we like to remind, because we still hear folks say to us they didn't realize that as a member of the association, you can get 10 hours of your CE on an annual basis, which is complimentary to you as a member of the association. So check that schedule out. It's on the education tab under education member benefit. So take a look. Upcoming shows. I think I'm still good. Somebody put in the question paying I sound okay. Just type that in there, making sure that my sound is still viable. So, yep. All right. Thanks, Paul. Upcoming shows, February 21st. As you know, committee weeks have already started here in Tallahassee. And so we're going to have Laura and BG kind of giving us a legislative preview in anticipation of what to expect when you come that first week of March for Capital Days. So certainly tune in to that show like you do every week that we have Friday Morning Live. But it will be action-packed with information about what's already happened up here in committee weeks and what you can expect during Capital Days. So, and then the 28th, Nolan Duda with Ideal Traits. We were just with one of Nolan's co-workers this week in St. Pete at the Workforce Summit. And I will tell you, they have been partners with the Big I for quite a while, and FAI is looking to further that relationship with Nolan and his crew. So tune in on the 28th of February to learn more about Ideal Traits. It's all about staffing. It's all about finding talent. And Nolan and his team do a great job. There was actually a few agents in the room this week, unbeknownst to me, that were already clients of Nolan's and Ideal Traits. So people are using their services and have found success to find talent. So, and then just a reminder, if you've not registered or gotten your hotel room yet for conventions, certainly, again, I recommend you do that because that particular property sells out pretty quickly. So go ahead and register and then get your rooms, or get your rooms, then register, but do both, as soon as you can, because you definitely want to be at the host hotel for our annual convention in June. So, and a lot of good things coming together for that event. So look forward to seeing you. And just this week, we gave away a complimentary registration to somebody in Jeff Odom's class. So you never know what's going to happen in Jeff Odom's classes if you're in there, and you may get a free registration or win one. He does a lot of door prizes, and one of them was the convention registration. So if you've missed the show, and we had this a couple weeks ago where people had missed it or wanted to go back and listen to parts of these recordings, we do record them. We put them on the website under Friday Morning Live. So certainly they're posted either Monday, Tuesday following the Friday Morning Live. So recommend if you've listened to it and you felt like maybe this ought to be a part of a team meeting, or you recommend somebody on your team listen to what the topic was, you can go and grab it or tell them where it's located, and they can listen to it. So just keep that in mind each week that we have Friday Morning Live. Okay, that's my little housekeeping. Let's find our friend Chris Black.
Let's go. The year is 2025, July 25th. That's right, folks. We're in the future. Today, we are Friday afternoon, 4 p.m., in the office, and Dave, played by Dave, is a new homeowner that's moving from the north of Florida to the center of the state in Lakeland. His closing is 4 days away, and there's a storm barreling down in the box. He's worked within another insurance agency, but got to the last minute and the deal got killed in underwriting. Now he's frantic. His wife is giving him a hard time. He's got to get this done so the kids can get enrolled in school. He has nowhere else to turn. Dave, give the One Call Close agency a call.
Ding, 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 ding. Ring, 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 ring.
Hello, Dave. Hello, this is Ski Bum from One Call Close agency. How can I help you today?
Well, Ski, my name is Dave, and I'm a new home buyer in Lakeland, and I need full coverage. I had an agent I was working with that let me down, Ski. I need full coverage on my house. My wife's upset. My kids are upset. Can you help me?
It's Friday afternoon. I get it. You're probably freaking out. It's cool. Dave, give me the address.
Well, before we get started, Ski, I'm on the golf course. You're interrupting my day. You understand you're interrupting my day because I'm getting a call from an agent that can't help me. So, so the address is 3009 Pearly Drive in Lakeland. How long is this going to take, Ski?
It's
How long?
literally going to take like 90 seconds. Just chill out, my man. Come on.
Man, 90 seconds? I've got to hit a putt.
Hey, all right. So this house, Dave, was built in the early 2020s. Looks pretty clean to me. What's going on? Do you have any like dogs or any kind of like crazy claims or anything in the last little while?
I breed dogs. Is that a problem?
What kind of dogs do you breed?
Golden Doodles.
Okay, man, that's not a big issue for insurance. So we're going to move right past that. Here's what we're going to do. Give me a second. Dave, what's your last name?
A second. You told me 90 seconds. We're 45 seconds in.
We're running time here, Dave. Come on. What's your last name, Dave?
Newell. Newell.
All right, Dave. What's your date of birth?
You need to know that to quote a policy?
Just, it's part of the process.
82161.
And your phone number.
Wow. 850-544-0049. Geez. And I got 3 kids and a grandson. What else you going to need?
Let's see here. What am I going to need from you?
Wow. I didn't realize it was going to be this much trouble to get a homeowner's policy in Florida.
I'm going to need a credit card in about 3 minutes.
Credit card? Oh, my.
All right, let's see what we got. Give me 1 second here.
One second. Now we're 55 seconds in.
You know what kind of options we have out there, and try to find you a solution. All right, so we've got a range of different options, Dave. What's the most important thing to you about your insurance coverage?
Well,
Price or
it's coverage. It's coverage. I need to be protected.
All right, so I'm gonna look at some HO3 options here. Hey, didn't you mention there was like an issue with another insurance agent or something? What killed this for your other deal? Was it like, is there anything else I need to know about?
Yeah. I've got solar panels. I mean, doesn't everybody in Florida?
Of course, because it's a sunshine state, Dave.
Yes.
Right? I mean, obviously, we use the sun for energy and all kinds of stuff. All right, just give me 1 second. I'm going to go back and ask my underwriter about this.
Well, that 90 seconds, Ski.
I know. It's a shame. I know. Let's see here. Let's ask. I'm just communicating with my underwriter now. So let me ask you a couple more questions here.
All right, I got to go putt. Can you hold?
Yeah, go knock it in, man. Hopefully it's for birdie. Hey, Dave, do you plan on like sending any of that power that you're going to get from those solar panels back to the grid?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So once you have that agreement in place, just send it over my way. We can get this done here with the company that I was thinking. So I'll tell you what. Let me give you the price option. This is with one of our carriers that we partner with to
the market. You're going to give me a price. The other guy couldn't even give me a price. So you're going to give me a price.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up here in the next like 2 or 3, 4 or 5 minutes.
Wow.
So 2733. Let me get in and firm things up for you, okay? And scene. Great job, Dave.
Wow. Okay. Well, I guess I feel better, Ski. If you are going to be an agent that's going to be able to help me get full coverage on my home, because full coverage is important to us for my family.
100%. Yeah, like the options that I'm looking at are wide ranging, right? So our technology that we use in our agency, one call close agency, that's what we do here. It's the one call close. We empower our team to identify what the risk factors are in the market with the risk that we have in front of us. And we identify every option of coverage from DP1s to DP3s to HO3s to HO5s to HO8s if the carriers have that capability. And we return that pricing of those policy forms in seconds. So our technology is creating a different way to think about distribution of insurance. The system provides value to every single stakeholder along the way. Speed and efficiency for agents, consumer choice in their client options. And ultimately, this is the best option for your carrier partners as well, because when you think about how do you go about marketing a risk today, you price first and underwrite second, which leaves a ton of gaps. Our system has been reverse engineered with our proprietary decision engine, which is this tool that we built on the left-hand side here, to identify the right company and the right policy form with that particular company. And so we do that differently than anything else. And it allows us to produce an outcome, much like I just showed you in our one call close scenario.
So, we're going to switch a little bit. I'm no longer the disgruntled customer on the golf course trying to make a birdie putt. So we'll go into this conversation, Chris. So, just curious, as an FAI member, how do they sign up for this? How does our member that's online today sign up for AskFetch, one call close?
The one call close can be found here, AskFetch.com. Get started, super simple. We walk you through it every step of the process. That's what we're about, is simplicity. Well, that logs me right back in. But it takes you to a page where you can add in your information for your account. You can set up your team. You can appoint your carriers. You can interact with Ellie. You can view our library, our bulletins. It is a extremely dynamic, unique platform that's been developed by independent agents for independent agents, and the proof is in the results, is in the outcome. And our hope is that what we're doing and the why of what we're doing, Dave, is right. Like, the technology exists to power a much better experience for everybody, not only agents, but also the consumers. And that technology is right here in front of us. And everyone seems to be comparing us to a rater. And
well, that question just came in, Chris.
We're not.
Tell us about that.
If you look at a rater, what's a rater trying to do? A rater is trying to get you from point A to price as quickly as possible. But what are they not doing at a granular level, right? And the state of Florida marketplace and all the complexities, who would have thought that if you have a market here for this risk that's got 20 carriers, and we start to layer in some complexity, right? Maybe it's got PEX plumbing. All right, we're down to 19. Maybe they do like to have dogs, right? Maybe they got a German Shepherd also. We're down to 15 companies. Maybe they also like solar panels. 13 companies. Maybe they got some bad advice from their attorneys, and it's in the name of an LLC. There's your list of carriers for that very complex risk that, in a rater scenario, you would put that risk in and it would pop out on the other side with a bunch of rates. Well, the reality is that several of those companies that are giving you the rates don't have the ability to underwrite in this manner. So they don't actually fit. So as an agent, what you have to do is now you have to underwrite the risk that you've already priced. And when you think about what our value proposition is as agents, it's kind of counterintuitive to what we're trying to do for our clients. In our view, what our value proposition is for our clients and our carrier partners is to match our clients with the coverage requests and or value requests or claims requests or whatever it is that that client is looking for, with a carrier that has that appetite, right? And the place that we've gone in the industry is this inverse relationship of price and value, and the agent is being lost in that transaction. And effectively, in our view, it's because we're not doing what we fundamentally were set out to do as insurance agents, which is client comes in, they give you a risk, you underwrite it, you look and say, okay, this risk fits good with this company. You price it, and in the days where comparative raters weren't available, you would price that individually with that insurance company, you get a price back, and you would sell that to your client. Well, so much has changed with the cheese. If anyone's ever read the book no, it's not Of Mice and Men, but it's him and Hall. Maybe it is Of Mice. No, it's not Of Mice and Men. Oh, Who Moved My Cheese? That's the name of the book.
Yeah, that's it.
The cheese has been moved. And for agents, like, we're concerned about our clients in many cases, but what we're also concerned about income. And so the income comes when you have a price to sell the client, right? And so our view, though, is that through that progression of technology and where we stand today with the comparative rater landscape and the way that agents view their raters and the way that they go to market has been built off of this notion that we have to get to price because that's what we have the opportunity to sell. And the reality is that at the end of that equation, the agent has no value, right? I heard from an agent that we talked to the other day, and Ken is absolutely crushing them, right? And I'm sure that's not unlike many of the people that are on this call. And so the reason why we're building this is because we think that agents bring value. And the way that agents bring value in a digital technology world, when people want things quickly, is through our technology when you're talking about marketing homeowners insurance. So that was kind of like a roundabout way, Dave, of saying we're not a rater. We're a go-to-market strategy. We're a solution for your headaches in your agency around personal line sales. We're a solution around, 2 weeks from now, you've got, Nolan coming in to talk about finding the ideal candidates. With what we do, finding ideal candidates to write personal lines insurance becomes very easy. You find people that can make quick friends on the telephone, and you do exactly what I just did with Dave. It's very simplistic. It's the number one issue, and Dave, chime in. I mean,
we're gonna fire off some questions, Chris. So you ready?
Challenge. I can't find staff. It's so complex. I hire somebody and it takes me 2 years to train them, and then they leave, right? And we have simplified the process in a way that's never been done. No other system today, when you compare, if you want to compare us to a rater, try to do the one call close on your rater with a client and see if it's sustainable.
Chris, you ready for some questions?
Yes.
All right. The first one, can agents on this call or any agent that's a member of the association take a trial run at this? How do they go about that?
Absolutely. You just got to go to the website, AskFetch.com. Right there. Get started. 7 days free trial. FAI members get a discounted rate, $45 per user per month.
Okay. How about other lines of coverage, Chris? What about commercial lines?
It's a good question. The technology is certainly compatible with commercial lines. It's not a focus of ours at the moment.
Okay. Can you customize it, Chris, to get X wind and wind only quotes?
Probably. Let's take that one offline. Can you maybe write down who asked that, and we'll talk to you about that.
Okay, I've got that. And our friend John said Fetch is going to help us bring new homeowner sales agents up to speed in 2 months rather than 2 years. So John's looking, as you said, as a definite solution to some of our staffing problems, right, Chris?
I think of anything that I've seen, and for those of you that don't know me, I was an independent agent in the Central Florida area, specialized really in homeowners insurance from 2008 to 2021, and the biggest challenge was onboarding. Right, like there's always enough business, but the biggest challenge was onboarding, training my team, right? Because everybody has ways that you like to do it. And I've been reaching out on a number of different places to ask agents, what their take on their go-to-market strategy is. And there's a wide range, right? But the reality is that there's complexities there, and having people that are good people that fit the criteria for like personal line sales, either online or over the phone, that's, you know, I feel like that's where the industry is going. And a tool like ours makes it so much more simple to onboard that individual and really look for the attributes of the person. And this is such a great career. I mean, I'm a second generation agent. My business partner Trace is a third generation agent here in Florida. You know, like my dad was at every single one of my sporting events growing up. And I got in this business because I wanted to be that way with my kids as well. And where we've gotten is this place where quotes take between, the best I've ever heard, 7 minutes. The slowest I've ever heard is over an hour. Lots of agents have processes built that are including virtual assistants out of the country because the quoting process has become so fragmented and antiquated. And it doesn't have to be that difficult. And our technology gives you significant time back in that process so that your teams can do more. Or if you want to go to your kid's baseball game, like we will have that opportunity to do that. Sorry, that's my tangent.
Yeah. Chris, what is the monthly cost without the discounted rate?
$50 per user per month.
Okay. Is there an annual contract, Chris?
No annual contracts. No, we don't think that that's something that makes a lot of sense. If we're not building technology that you will like and utilize and it helps your life, then we don't think you should pay us. That's that simple. So it's a month. It's a month-to-month deal.
Month-to-month. Okay. You know, John mentioned the learning curve for an agent to get up to speed. What's the learning curve for an agent to learn fetch and one call close?
I mean, I'll show you. It's like it's very simple, right? Like the marketplace is we built it to start with an address. So I mean, if you have an address, we'll pull Pearly back up. But you start with an address. You walk into our very simple underwriting page where we underwrite the risk. So we pull in some preliminary data about the risk on a high level, which gives us some very basic kind of, you know, snapshots of what we're looking at. A picture, connections to Google Maps and Zillow if you want maybe some more details about you know, what you're looking at in terms of scope of the home. We make a quick calculation for you already with coverage A, and this is very pliable. So if you wanted to change that for the quoting purposes, you can. We funnel in the year built. We make some selections at times, right? Like this stayed on from the last search, but I mean, it's about as easy as you could possibly imagine in my view. And looking at this and how to like onboard a team, train them. If I were going to do this and like, I would be looking for people that, you know, had a good sense, were hungry, could talk to people, like can build a relationship quickly and are genuine, and teach them what's on a 4-point, right? Yep. So when a 4-point comes to them, they can go, oh yeah, electrical wiring. Yeah, we've got, you know, we've got copper. All right, let's see what happens. Okay, perfect. Do you have any dogs? No. Right. Okay, perfect. You know, what are we working with here? We've got acreage, claims, prior insurance, ownership, protection class, usage. And this is a fully customizable system that we built. So as new, you know, the next crisis, Dave, right? And we talk about Florida insurance marketplace, it's like sinkhole, then AOB, then what's next, right? So as future risk factors evolve, our system's already been built to absorb those and underwrite for them. So that's a unique quality. So as long as you're staying on trend, you know, you're going to be fine. What I love about our system for new folks is this functionality. Ellie is a revolutionary tool, okay? Ellie has been trained as if she were an underwriter with all the information that the carriers that we partner with give us to give to their agents, right? And so for new people that might encounter something like polybutylene, like I'd never heard what polybutylene was when I was an agent, right? So if I would have had this tool, I would have said something like, why is polypipes an issue for insurers? And this is a generalized question, not necessarily geared towards security first in this case, but this is an example of like how you can leverage this tool with new people and or seasoned people. Like Ellie is by far the fastest growing piece of our platform since we launched this in June. She's answered nearly 24,000 questions for a pretty small, relatively group of agents. Which is like a 99.7% accuracy rating. So if that gives you anything there, but this is great because here we go. Polybutylene pipes can be an issue for insurers because they are prone to leakage and failures over time. And then it goes into a little bit more detail. So in very short amount of time, someone new, someone that would need to have a question answered, no more do they have to, find wherever that may be. Like if they database this information themselves, right? And it's like, okay, well, how would I find that? If it were not in Fetch, I'd have to do a Control F, and then I'd have to do something like, poly, and then I'd be like, oh no, what do I do? Right? So we've really tried to think through simplicity and how the process should look, I guess, in our view, and tried to layer in the technological advancements that are available today.
All right,
and then
let's try to, we'll go back to that, Chris, but we've got questions coming in fast and furious. So let's try to answer. Did I see you quote all policy types, or is it just a certain type of policy in HO3 versus another policy type?
So our platform is designed, because we're designed differently, we're looking at different things, and we have the capability to produce an output. It's like our output is substantially different than anything that's available. And that is because our system's designed to underwrite first and quote second, right? We're looking at every policy type, DP1, DP3, HO3, HO5, HO8. And we do have wind and ex-wind stuff in there, but I want to cover that with whoever asked that question offline. But yeah, we're returning pricing for all of these particular products. And that is substantially different. That's one of the big differentiators of why I don't even really compare us to raters. I don't think, I don't even want to be compared to a rater. We're really not. We're an underwriting engine. We underwrite smarter and we quote faster.
How many personal lines carriers are you affiliated with?
Let me pull up that slide. Give me 1 second. 17 commitments, 9 quoting today on the platform, 3 coming very soon, with the 3 others in the queue, well, in process actually. Let me pull up that. Bear with me, sorry. Other questions while I'm pulling this up?
Yeah. What if your client doesn't know the correct named insured on the property records? How does AskFetch deal with that, Chris?
It's I don't know if I fully understand the question. Can you say that one more time?
What about the named insured on property records when the client does, sometimes you go to property records versus what I'm telling you as the client, the house is in my name, but you go to the property records site and it's under an LLC or it's under my wife and I's name. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. What does the system, how does the system deal with that when they're going out gathering public information?
So our view is, for an agent to get to that point, they would have to know that they're going to be writing the insurance policy in most cases, right? Because that doesn't become an issue until the actual time when you're actually, in my mind, until you're, unless it's in the name of a trust, which we actually account for in our underwriting, right? Or an LLC or any of the other type of anomalies that we see, which is totally something that we can underwrite for, right? So when you think about that question, I'll come back to the carriers here in a second because I do have that slide up. When you think about that question, you think about ownership. If it's in an individual name, we get, in most cases, and right now, we're putting in one individual's name, and that is what's flowing over to our insurance carrier partner, right? So our view is that our technology is the most effective way to get underwritten first, quoted second, quote returned in a new, better, faster way with all policy types that are available with that particular carrier, right? And then once you land on that and you're comfortable with your client, you've addressed, whatever the need is with the client, whether they want a DP1 for bare basement, lowest cost, lowest coverage, or do they want, a Cadillac, right? We then would direct you in a very simple way. I mean, it was one click. I'm not sure if you guys saw that, but we click out of our system onto the page on the carrier that is the application page. So at this point in time, you would then start getting granular on, what it is that you're finalizing with the insured. Hopefully that answers that question.
Yeah, Kim, we could follow up offline. I am a new member, and I'm thinking about AskFetch. Do you offer any training for your system?
Yeah, let's do it. I think we gotta, as agents, we tend to overthink things, and I think as a general rule, our system is a way to kind of come back to what might be important in today's world, right? Like the training, certainly, I'm happy to do training. We actually, once you log in, you'll see that we have like a step-by-step guide to walk you through the platform and show you like every element of what it is, like where you can get to Ellie. You can leverage Ellie also outside of the marketplace as well. So if you wanted to come in and ask a question to a partner carrier, you can do it here. So there's really not a ton of training that goes on. We have the marketplace, we have Ellie, we have the library, we have our bulletins. And that's really it.
Speaking of bulletins, Chris, Danielle wants to know, man, there's an awful lot of changes that come in with very little notice to agents. How fast is the system updated?
So for our carriers that are partner carriers, and I want to, which screen am I sharing? Am I sharing?
Yeah, the name of the carriers, yes.
I'm giving the carrier screen. Oh, sorry, I thought I was showing something completely different. For the carriers that are our partner carriers, that information will be in our system within a 24-hour period. So from the time that they send the information out, we have it databased, we identify what the change is, we'll post the bulletin, and we make the adjustment in our front-end decision engine technology, which is, I'll pull that over here and show you. That's part of the marketplace that I mentioned. And so if bulletins affect the underwriting, right? So something comes out and it's like, okay, we will no longer take anything below 500,000. And this risk is, $495 post bulletin. It will be in our system. Another really great feature of our system that I haven't even really highlighted here is the fact that this becomes a de facto underwriting guideline management tool for an insurance agency. That's a fundamental thing that has to be done at every single agency that's writing personal lines. There has to be a strategy on how you manage the underwriting guideline information. And in today's world, when you have lots of people working remotely, and kind of, unification is an issue. It can be an issue. And so having a tool like ours that is compartmentalizing all that, and as the agency principal or even a team member in the agency, that the information that you're looking at is the most up to date, that's very, very valuable. And so what we've created is a way that you can kind of take that task off of whoever is doing it and free them up from a little bit of time that they're spending doing that. Because it does take time. We used to do it in our agency, and it has to be a process, right? People have to know where they can get the guideline information, because at the end of the day, we don't want to send the wrong types of business to our carrier partners. That doesn't help us build goodwill with those people. And so this system is even a hedge for that, because when you're underwriting, you're screening out all the stuff that could come back to bite you, right? And it could become problematic and a poor experience for the consumer that you place the policy with, right? And then ultimately, if that was like something that was referred to you by a referral partner, and it kind of stains those relationships at times too. So our view is flushing out the underwriting first is the most advantageous way to take a risk to market.
You showed that list a minute ago of the carriers you're working with and some of the partners. Let's see, Danielle says, or Kim says, what about Citizens? I don't see Citizens up there.
I'm glad you brought that up, Kim. Our view with Citizens is that, first of all, agents are having a hard time right now with what has happened, right? And I'm synonymous. I'm sympathetic to it. We're sympathetic to it. We know that the processes that have been created to do business with that particular marketplace is strained based on what's happened recently. And so we would love to work with Citizens on this, and we would love, really more than anything, to have Citizens hear from agents about what it would look like in our technology if Citizens could give us the ability to do a quick quote, very similar to one of the other comparative raters that many of you know and love, right? So we feel that there's a bit of an unlevel playing field, if I'm being honest, around that, and that, there's the one market that's the market of last resort that all of the insurance agents are, in many cases, or at least they feel like they're forced to utilize that, are being put through the gauntlet now of, 30 minutes on quoting a quick quote. And it's really tough. So to the extent that we would be able to position a quick quote with Citizens on our platform is something that we absolutely want to do, but we actually need our help from our agents and the agent force to voice that. And if you all would like this type of technology and like to be able to present the one call close that I just showed, I think they need to hear from agents.
Yeah, we'll add a little bit at the very end to this presentation, Chris, about that. But will an agent be able to calculate an RCE on this platform?
No. Our view is different on RCEs, and for good reason. Our view on RCEs and the creation of RCEs within the comparative rating platform is a little counterintuitive if you think about it. Of all these companies, right, that we have up here on the screen, they all have RCEs. They all have different RCE guidelines. Some of them you can use other guides, some of them you can use others, some of them you can't, some of them you have to use theirs. Some of them are the same amongst different ones, but they're programmed a little bit differently, so they produce a little bit different cost factor, right? So our view as an agent is that if you're going to write an insurance policy with an insurance company, every single one of them has an RCE inside their system, and we think that that's very easily done on their system. Many of them have made it extremely easy, frankly, compared to when I was doing it. We would go into 360 and MSB and like have to fill out all the fields, and it would take like 5 minutes. Now they're like, yep, they pre-fill it and you click the button and it produces it. So
Okay.
with our platform, we think, again, we're trying to give the agents the fastest way to underwrite a risk, make sure that you have the carriers that have an appetite for this particular risk and on which policy types to quote in as fast a way as possible. And if that means that, the other thing about it is my experience, agents will know, given their geographic region, by and large, looking at this house, approximately what that MSB is going to be. And so that's why we've calculated this in to start the process, just to make it seamless. But I mean, somebody could go in and just make a change, like say 580, let's say. Or if it was, 1.2 million. Right? I found a bug. Yeah, there we go, Josh. Look at that. Got a bug. Got a bug intake. Okay. Anyway,
all right. Hey, Chris, let's try to fire through a few more of these questions, and then with the few minutes we have left, John Wheeler said, my team started using Fetch with almost no training. So thanks for that shout out, John. How many agents can use AskFetch if an agency purchases it? Are you limited?
So we would appreciate if everyone would pay, for each person in their agency that's going to use the system. We have priced this in a manner that brings extreme value to agents, and we certainly I think there's probably agents today that are using our system and it's shared passwords and things, but at the end of the day, we're here trying to help the industry and agents, and my view would be that anybody that touches personal lines and quotes needs their own login. Anyone that touches personal lines and services needs their own login, and the admins need their own login. And if I'm being honest, like the $50 per person will pale in comparison to the opportunity cost of the time lost, if not in a platform like this.
All right, Chris, will you see rates from carriers that you're not appointed with?
No.
Okay. If each person has their own login, can they see all agency quotes?
That is coming. That should be released very, very soon. So yes, that's going to be part of a release that we come out with. It's going to allow that functionality as well as a proposal functionality. So if anybody asks that question, two things before we got to bounce, if you'll allow me, Dave.
Absolutely.
So I think it's important, like to note here that, let me pull these out. So it's important to note that when we go to market with a risk, we're not only we're obviously bringing back pricing now. That's happening, right? But what I haven't showed is this system and this functionality. And what we're doing here, these carriers are all carriers that are just not quoting in our platform today. They may be coming, we may be in discussions with them. And, we would certainly love for any folks that have great relationships here, or if any of the executive teams are on this call, we would love to further this relationship and bring you all aboard on this platform and talk through what the distinct advantages there are at the carrier level and what the implementation of this at scale looks like in terms of expense reduction for our carrier partners, et cetera. This platform, our core is underwriting. So we're still underwriting these risks. So in this particular scenario, this risk would still be eligible for all of these carriers and all these policy forms within these carriers. So if an agent wanted to go to to market, if maybe all of these options, right? Maybe we can't land on a solution for the client with all of these options. maybe you take another 30 seconds and go get a quote here, right? Or a quote here for the time being. Like, what is I like to talk about it in terms of what is your amount of time per quote today? If you know that, you take the same amount of quotes and you multiply it by 1.5 minutes, which is what it takes to underwrite and quote a risk in our platform. And you see what that time savings is for your agency. And you just ask the question of, if in that amount of time, if I can't find a good option in this matrix for my client, then it makes sense. Maybe I'll just run into Slide or Southern Oak or People's Trust or somebody and do a quote, right? Or not. So that's something very, very impactful. The other thing is we work with an agent that has an external VA, and that VA has been integrated into their existing quoting process prior to starting with Fetch. The VA, actually this VA, sorry, this is a different scenario. This VA did not have any experience quoting, okay? The VA was given a 2.5-minute video on our system to walk them through and 60 quotes to do. And so this VA asked all of his colleagues that were doing quoting, how long this should take him to give an estimate. And the estimate was 2 days, 60 addresses. In 1 hour and 58 minutes, he had quoted all 60 addresses, producing, it was like, I have to go back and look at the number, but it was like 1,900 like quotes in total amongst all the different policy forms and whatnot. And he sent back a note to the agent that said, sorry, I would have gotten this done quicker, but my internet here in the Philippines is kind of slow. So if that, that to us was like a really aha moment, because here's a guy that has never quoted before, asking his colleagues in their office in Manila or wherever, what should I think? How should I think about this? And then like all the people in the office were like high-fiving him, and they're all asking their people how they get Fetch and like all this kind of thing. But it was really, that was an impactful moment, I feel like, for us to kind of understand that.
All right, Chris, last question, and we got to sign off. And certainly reminder, this has been recorded. We will adjust the recording based on that little hiccup we had at the beginning. But just to clarify, using AskFetch will only provide quoting access to just the carriers you're appointed with, correct?
Correct. Yeah. At this point in time, none of the carriers have expressed in the property side. This will be different in the flood marketplace that is coming soon. I always like to talk about some things that are coming soon also. But yes, if you are not appointed with that particular carrier in your agency, you will not appoint yourself on our appointments page, right? So like if you could go and look at the carriers that we have currently in the platform quoting, which you didn't see Tower Hill on mine, but it is a carrier that we do quote with today, you'll see that you just wouldn't have them appointed. Right?
Gotcha. Okay. Well, again, folks, AskFetch, they're an FMS partner. They've been involved, as you know, Chris and Trace. Many of you know Chris and Trace, long-standing insurance agencies in this state, a big supporter of the association. So the partnership is there. Go in, look around, get a trial. Remind me how we get set up, Chris. Last question from Kim.
Yep. Go ahead, askfetch.com. Get started.
There you go.
Walks right through the process.
There you go. Great. Great, Chris. Well, thanks. Thanks to you and Trace. We appreciate it. Folks, there'll be a convention. Certainly come by the booth. And I'm sure by convention, there's going to be even more advancements to one call close. So Thanks.
You'll want to get it. You'll want to
Friday morning live. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the sunshine. Believe it or not, Chris, last Friday, we were still had ice on the ground up here. So kind of a crazy. I was wearing shorts last night.
So Bert could not play his golf on his Friday game. He must have been devastated.
Yeah. So, but thanks, folks. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, AskFetch. One call closed, folks. That's the tagline. Let us know if you have any questions. And we'll see you next time on Friday Morning Live.
Thank you, Dave.